One. We are here with Tyler from Heat One. John is MIA. Don't know where he is right now, but for those joining, good evening, Chris, Alyssa.
He's bashful. He's somewhere eating cereal. He won't eat it on the show anymore.
Yeah. Oh, look, there he is. There he is. Right on time. Hey, John.
Give me a second, guys. I can't hear you.
You're all good.
Good evening, RB. I wonder how much John likes all of his new Instagram followers.
Did he post about that?
I don't know. I don't know if we can talk about him, though, because he can't hear us. So that works. All right. Well, hopefully John gets his audio working.
His mic figured out. Yeah.
His mic works, which is good.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's kind of a weird part of the season. I think everybody's kind of reeling from the games and trying to get caught up. I know I am. So we have gotten the top 25 rankings for media and the fans on the Patreon page. The media one we'll talk about. There still are some votes coming in. So that won't be officially published, but we will talk about it this afternoon.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Okay.
Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Nope.
Nope, definitely cannot. Do we want to talk about Ricky Garrard's Hyrox, which we wrote about and compared to Hunter McIntyre, and I've learned some things following that article, which is I will feel better about CrossFit's 5K. And I think we're going to start off now while John tries to get this done with some analysis that Tyler has done from Heat 1 of the CrossFit Games and kind of how people have picked athletes throughout that time.
So I guess I'm trying to get geared up for Rogue and in a couple different ways. But one of the things, like, I know a few things that a lot of other people don't know. And so what I can see is how many people picked which athletes and different things like that. And then, like, I can see the winners, and I can do some math that other people can't do. So for the shot caller and we'll just start with the shot caller game. So the picks per event game, you only have to pick. So to win, you needed to pick an average of the top 4 each across the competition. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, okay, if I look, I just want to kind of figure out what that looks like, how fans did with that. And so I pulled the metrics on who the fans played and what their actual play and what the athlete's actual placement was. And I compared that to vice versa both ways. And I think there were some really interesting things that came out.
You want me to pull up the spreadsheet
Yeah,
here?
go ahead and pull up the sheet. Yeah. We can start with men, or it doesn't really matter either way.
Yeah, so we got the men here. Let's see.
I'm good now, guys.
Can you hear us?
Yep.
Awesome.
Okay, sweet.
You hear me fine?
Yeah. Man, this thing is trying to... There you go.
There we
go. So, John, we're talking about just some findings I did looking at Heat 1 and, like, where most fans voted during the shot caller event, and sort of giving people like a peek into how they can play during Rogue and maybe get a little bit better. So what you see right there on the very left is who actually won each event, and then what fan pick. Like, so it would have been like for event 1, Yonakoski was the highest picked athlete. Event 2, Roman Karenikov, he won, but he was the second highest picked athlete. Cole Grieshaber in event 3 was the 16th highest picked athlete. And I think he only had like 25 picks. So the way this goes, like almost every time, people, like over 50% of people voted for one person. And Cole was the least picked who won an event. And I thought that was crazy. Does that make sense to you, John, for event 3? Does that not seem wild?
I mean, I think a gymnastics event would be the event where an outlier would be. that does make sense. Like, I mean, I don't think anybody would have picked Bailey Martin either, and he did extremely well in that event too.
Right.
Mhm.
I mean, I know you mentioned his name, and I mean, it was a great call when you mentioned his name. But I bet he wasn't very high on the list either. So, like, for the straight up gymnastic events, if there wasn't a Danielle Brandon, the girls would be flip a coin too, and like Elisa Fuliano, who's out of nowhere, would have won that event, right? People would pick Katrin or Ariel or Carrie Pierce when she was there. But Danielle Brandon's been just such a freaking wins every gymnastics event there is, straight up gymnastics. There's not a guy that's like that. You know, if Victor Hoffer made the games every year, Victor Hoffer would be Danielle Brandon.
Yeah.
In those specific events. We don't have that for the guys. So it makes sense that there's this wild card that nobody knows about. Like, it's not just Cole, it's also Bailey Martin. And when people don't know about these people, yeah, we say their names in passing, but we don't say, hey, this is the for sure winner like we do with Danielle Brandon. We just say, hey, Cole could be good at this event. He was a gym, you know what I mean? And then so people just pick what they know, and they probably know Vellner's a great gymnast. He should do good in this. Medeiros is a great gymnast. He should be good in this. And that's who they roll with, right? And I think that, yeah, if you don't have that in strength events, you don't have that in endurance events. We know the top 5 guys. We know who's going to do well, right? Gymnastics is the only funky one there can be.
Yeah, and I look at this list of who was the actual winner in their fan pick. I feel like a lot of times, and I know I did, you sometimes pick a safe pick, right? Like, somebody you know who's going to do well, but you may have somebody in the back of your mind who could do really, really well, but they could also bomb it. Like, we all thought Yellow Hoste was going to do well on the 5K, but we also knew that Adler was probably going to do just as well.
And we never seen him run, so we can't just say, oh, he's going to tear it up. I mean, unless you're Peter, and he's kind of biased about it, but, you know, all the props to him, but, you know, he is biased a little bit about it, right? Or if Ricky was there, we know Ricky's probably going to be top 3. We don't know that with gymnastics with the guys.
So that like, it kind of changed the way that I thought about playing. Like, you definitely want to pick guys who have win potential, right? And then play them in the right events. But then I thought, like, after I noticed so John, you missed this part, but to beat the guy who won, 6'8" CrossFitter, Michael Hoffman. So he was the champ for the shot collar event. You had to have an average of a top 4 pick on every event. Now, he had some really bad events, but he also picked the winner like 7 times. So it was like, okay. So
is there a way to compare mine to him? Because I was 12th, so I was relatively close. We could see where you could make up points to beat him if you were up there.
You can just go, like, you click his icon, or you can go to the top and you can click and it'll compare you to him. But anyway, so to me, the strategy should be now, I should have, because you only needed 6 guys. Where there were 12 tests. We didn't know that going in, right? There could have been 12, there could have been 14. Usually it's between 11 and 15 events, right?
Right.
So even at 15, you only need 7 guys that can be top 4 on any event. That's not a crazy amount of guys.
No,
right?
And essentially you need 2 events where you're not picking the top guys, right?
Yeah.
Like you have your Mertens event, you got your Koski event, you got your right, and then you got to find one more in there, right? Which would be Hosto or Chandler Smith in a deadlift workout,
or like Fuliano.
Well, right, for women, Fuliano. But Danielle Brandon is kind of like a Koski in a way with that. Like, I'm probably not picking Danielle Brandon for another one, maybe intervals, but like she's kind of safe there. But like Horvath, you might not want to pick her for the lift because you could pick her for 4 things, right? You got to find those like Bronislaw, right, or Varlo. You got to find 3 or 4 events where you got that special person, and then you can play all the top guys for the rest of them. Then you have Roman, Vellner, Adler for all the rest of Justin for all the rest of the events. But you got to find those events.
It makes me think back, John, you and I never worked on this before, but we talked about doing it, is the accolade, like, kind of people of the people who would be the best picks in any aerobic event, the people who would be the best picks in any strength event, the top. So now we know, like, we really just need to limit it down to 5 people. Like you need to pick these people. But the thing about Grease Shaper that's interesting that like we don't know the reason he was such a low pick is because we don't know anything about him. Like he got no shine before the games.
He doesn't post on social media almost ever.
And so it's like, how would we know to pick him? And so to me now, it's like I want to know more about him. And so I think that's where us at Heat 1, we start to like dig into these folks and be like, hey, what are you good at? What, we want to give you a little bit more limelight. So anyway, to the left there in the yellow chart, I always use this color code, by the way. These are the 3 colors I use. It will not deviate from that.
Hey, they work, man. It's easy to read.
This was the fans' top plays on each event, and then what those athletes actually got in the events. And so, as you can see, Justin Medeiros murdered people. What event is that? In event 6? Yeah. So that was Helena.
Helena, yeah.
Yeah, Helena. Sorry, I screw that up every time, y'all.
Capital of Montana. That's how you say it.
I'm trying too hard. It's like I get when Savon just murders people's names. He's just trying too hard. And this one, I was trying to think back. Like, was there too much media on him thinking he's definitely going to win this event? Right? Why were people so hype on somebody who then gets 30th? He didn't trip. There was nothing weird that happened to him in that event, right?
What was the event right before it?
Ski bag. My favorite event.
And he got like 7th on that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think people probably just thought he was back and
third. He got third on ski bag.
Okay, like I think people just thought, he's back to normal Justin. He got 2nd in the handstand walk, right? Which was the 3rd event. 4th event was alpaca. He got 7th. And then he got 3rd in ski bag, right? This is normal Justin, and this is 400-meter runs and bar muscle ups.
And they may not have used them yet.
So
right, and it's not. They don't want to waste their Vellner pick. They don't like. I don't think anybody knew Adler was going to kill everybody. I didn't know Adler was going to. I knew he'd be fine, but not kill everybody. Like I think Justin's a great pick for this one, and people just thought he was back. After the 2nd event, I just was going to stay away from Justin no matter what. I said, even if I thought he was back, just in case something like that could happen, and it did. But I could see why people picked him for this. Is a great event for Justin.
Theoretically, it would be a great one. It's so funny because what you're nailing on something that I have a hypothesis about, but I haven't had time to test. So I worked on this today. I had like 30 minutes. I could kind of pull this. So I have that feeling about Alexis Raptis is that the media concentration on her actually amped up the amount of picks that she had. Like people were like, oh, they get on the hype train. They just start picking her. She's going to win everything. And it's like, I wish people would just calm down a little bit and think about the next event.
Carolyn Prevost loved playing the Heat 1 app at the games. She was way more invested in each event, cheering for the athletes that she picked. Did Spray?
Real quick, Brian. What I think is crazy is that the unanimous pick for majority was wrong, like 85% of the time.
Let me pull it. Let me run
that. That's pretty nuts. And even like it's not even like they got 2nd, like 6th, 9th, 30th, 12th, 4th, 5th. Like they don't even get the top 3, right? The majority pick for people is not even getting the top 3. That's pretty crazy, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
I bet the women is a little bit different because
the women is so much better. The fans really knew the women.
Me and Brian knew this friend beforehand. Like the women, the top of the spear for the women, the top 5 or 6 or so are so like there's such a gap between them and the rest of the field.
Right. It was easier to pick the winners.
Where you can have Cole Gray Sabers in the men. There aren't other than Lisa Foulier, like there's not the top of the head spear for the women. There's such a gap between everybody else.
Yeah, very very few women outside the top 10 are going to be a top 3 performance unless they underperformed early on and they're making their way back up.
Right. So then Chandler Smith was the other one, and that was which event was
intervals?
That one?
If I had to
intervals,
guess, it would be
yeah.
intervals because Brian
Which-
Spring was hyping him up.
Chandler? Yeah. Yeah. Well, that was a tough one, right? Like we went back and forth
Yeah.
on where was that going to be won or lost?
It was a tough one. It was a tough one.
and,
It's not a bad pick in the moment. It just didn't.
Well, another thought on this is that like look at the spreads on those events that were hard to pick, like on these events, like they're so small.
Yeah.
Like it's so easy to make a bad pick because it's like you know one slip and you're down 7 spots.
Yeah, especially in
So-
the games.
Yeah.
Uh,
Funny. Another note about Chandler. I mean, it does have to do with, I guess, Heat 1, but he was the most consistent athlete at the games. He wasn't the most highest performing athlete, but he was roughly around 7th each time. He never really deviated that very far away from it. So if you're looking for a pick that you're like, I don't really know who I want to play, he's not a bad one. It's not top 4, but you're not going to lose points on him. So he's someone to talk about in the future as far as that goes.
And his defense too, he was 3rd place at the time.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was doing well. That was
I
part
know.
of his-
I wasn't buying the hype, but I can completely see how you're like, oh man, Chandler's, the 3rd fittest dude there, and this is an athletic event. Like he should kill this event, right? I could see that line of thought from people.
Yeah, it's
Right.
burpees and jumping. He should be pretty good at it. But
Again,
again,
the blue chart. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
seconds made up a lot of spots in that one. So
It's recovery.
Sure.
yeah,
You were going to ask about Sprague. What were you going to say?
I wonder how many, like with Carolyn playing, Sprague signed up. I wonder how many games athletes.
I think
Had
there were
signed
more
up.
than 10. At one point, I had counted more than 10. I couldn't rattle them off to you now, but I think there were more than 10.
That's
And
pretty cool.
I know a lot of people. I spoke to some people at the games who, like they registered under aliases because they were like it'd be a conflict of interest, and I don't want to piss people off, so they registered under aliases, which I totally get. I mean, that's fair.
What's going on with this blue section down here?
Yeah, that was just the number of picks. So both the count and the overall, like how many times they were played. And so Pat, you can see he was played 4,693 times, or 10% of total plays. So he was the favorite of the weekend altogether. And I think people played him in events that they probably shouldn't have. They favored him when they shouldn't have. Go ahead.
Medeiros, all of his picks came from, or is that the top pick?
It's the
That's the
time they
top
were the
pick.
number 1
Okay.
pick for the
It's
crowd.
time they were number pick. Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah. So Pat had 10% of all the top picks. So definitely the crowd favorite, I think, for the weekend. And it just didn't come out to shine through. And then I thought it was interesting that Roman, I wonder if he had not have gotten hurt, if his numbers would have been higher in the last 2 events. Like if those could have put him over Pat's picks.
Who was the number 1 pick for the 11th event? Vellner?
Pat, yeah. Or no, the number 1 pick.
That's
Yeah,
what this
he
was
was
showing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Brent was number
Brent
1.
got
Yeah,
third,
no,
got-
I know Brent was first, but I think Roman would have been a popular pick for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brent actually won it, but he was the 3rd fan pick. Pat was the best fan pick, but he actually got 2nd in that event. So, yeah, just an interesting look. And we can flash over to the women.
All right. Let's take a look at the women here.
I thought the women was much more interesting. So you can see
A lot more
there's
winners.
way more winners in this one.
Well, you have 2 obvious ones. Again,
Right.
Danielle Brandon and Emily Rolfe are both specialty picks
Yep.
that are the obvious ones. And for the men, we did not have obvious winners in either of those events. And then, Laura Horvath, Christine Kohlenbrenner was 2nd. I'm surprised Laura wasn't the most in the lift. You think people were saving her?
Because they already used her on
You think it's because they already used her?
event 2 and number 5.
That's fair.
For me, I don't think she's an obvious winner. Like I think other girls could definitely throw up weight with her, and she's going to win other events. So why play her on the lift? It's just not.
I
not
agree
worth
with
it.
you. I agree with you. She is the obvious winner, but I agree with you that there's so many other places.
I had the same thing with Emma Lawson. I had used her twice before she was going to win event 8. And I was like, damn, couldn't use her. I don't remember who I picked at that point, but yeah,
I
the women,
remember
I
you
felt
were
like you had to,
flippy-floppy on that one.
well, because I couldn't pick Emma, so it was a tough one.
So Emma Tall was the
We need
fan
to take
pick that-
note. Yeah, we need to take note of Emma Tall.
Yeah, I projected her to do really well at the games, and I bumped her down because I was like, maybe this, like John got in my head, this stupid math stuff. Like, you just need to watch the events.
I watched her legless rope climb. She's probably the best legless rope climber in all the women's field. I didn't know that about her until today, or until then.
You hadn't said anything to me about it. It was just that, like, when she
I had
was
her like
that
11th.
high. When she was that high, I was like, "There's no way this is right. That's crazy."
How high did you have her?
So I can't remember. I saw it and was immediately like, "No way."
Bump her down.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I think I had her like 11th.
No, it's okay.
Man. She's really good.
Yeah. So
it's easy to say now.
That-
But
Yeah,
do you think she should have been an obvious like top 3 pick? Like, should have been within the
oh
top
no,
3?
I had no idea she could legless rope climb like that. Didn't know that about her at all. I was shocked when I saw her there. I thought it was Alex Kazan. In my opinion, what the best legless rope climber there is, and Laura Horvath's just fitter than everybody. That was my 2 people. Emma Tall was better than everybody in that workout. Emma Tall should be regarded as one of the best pullers for all the women, and we need to remember that for future workouts. Because I didn't know that about her. I had no idea, and now I do. And like, yeah, it's you can't say somebody's going to do good if you don't know they have that ability.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yep.
Why do you think Jamie got such a bad, like, so low in the picks on event 6? Like, she seems like a smart pick for that. It seems obvious to me. Not maybe an obvious win, but not a 13.
For Helena?
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I don't know. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good pick for Helena. I didn't pick her to win. I didn't think she would win, like you said, but I do think she's a safer pick. You know what I mean? Like top 5-ish. I'm not sure.
Yeah. For me, she, after missing last year, I just wasn't sure about where she stacked up amongst the elite.
How fit she was.
Yeah, yeah, she's great at muscle ups and running, but where is that level of greatness this year? Right? Like, if she couldn't qualify last year, like where is she like now? And so, and you think about how she qualified into Oceania, she didn't do great in the semifinal. I mean, she did what she needed to, but you didn't walk away thinking that she was going to do as well as she did at the games.
Sure. I mean, like, yeah, I think she's definitely in the sunset of her career, being an individual athlete. And I think that probably played into it. And I think maybe like a lot of new fans maybe don't know who she is. Right.
That's fair. She's been off the scene for a couple of years.
Yeah. And so, I mean, 13th just still seems low. And I'm putting it on us as analysts, like not raising her higher or like bringing her up more. Like this whole experiment running these analytics, like really put it on me to be like, hey, we need to do a better job, like talking about the people who might actually do well in events, spotlighting them before they show up. As you can see on the women, like they were never, for the fan top plays, they were never very far outside of first. I mean, the lowest they go is 6th. And at that point in the weekend,
and
you're running out of plays.
Aerial low.
I know.
Right, that's
at
pretty
that point
good
in the
picks.
weekend, though.
Yeah.
Also, the lowest participation was the last day, I thought.
Which is tough. I've seen some comments. I know they started a little bit early on one of them. Everybody started swarming the app, so you're at a little bit of downtime.
Right.
And
the other thing I thought,
if you are out of it, you may stop playing if you're near the bottom.
Yeah. I loved the participation like all the way through. Like Saturday, I was really surprised. Which you really are still in it until really the last couple events because of the way the points swing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was thinking because most of our users are in North America so far, We do have a decent pool in Europe, but it kind of maps like with CrossFit in general. But I was like, what were people doing like that early on? I was like, oh, people were at church or something like that. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
anyway, that was just a neat look. So
yeah,
thanks.
no, that's cool. I mean, we're what, a little over 2 months away from Rogue. Is that the next one that you have lined up?
Yeah, we're setting stuff up now for Rogue. So
Probably got to figure out how to get there. Start figuring that out.
It's right down the road from you, John.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, you got to get tickets. It's a big thing.
How far is where are you
Austin?
again? Austin.
Houston. It's 2 hours.
2 hours. Okay.
To me, it's like 2.5 hours.
If I hear about traveling within Texas, I'm like, it's probably 8 hours or something.
Oh, I mean, that's fair. No, I'm 2.5 hours from San Antonio and Austin, and then 1.5 from College Station. Everywhere else, I'm 8 hours away. Yeah.
All right, top 25. So we have.
It was interesting for me, guys. Do you want to go through? I know we're gonna go through the poll.
Yep.
But do you want to talk about all three of ours individually too while we do it?
Yes. I gotta pull mine up, but I guess before we even get into the rankings, so the fan poll is done. We've gotten those in. There were still a few people that were a little bit late getting their picks in on the media poll, so that will come out. I have preliminary results. Tyler is one of those people who got to me about 30 minutes before we came online, and a few others. It seems like everybody was kind of busy, but
all of us are catching up on work we didn't do for 3 weeks.
Also true. I thought it was really difficult. Like,
I tell you what, the women was way harder than the men. The women were like, oh my gosh. Like,
yeah.
There's like 5 people that weren't here last year.
Yeah. And you see people and it's like, well, they should do better than they did last year. And then it's like, but I added 5 more people who are I have ahead of them. And so they were 8th and now they're 13th, and nothing is saying they're going to do worse. It's just a tougher field in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. That's what it was for me. Like I kind of jumbled around the ranks that were already there, which I guess you had set up based on what the games and then down from there.
Yeah. So
then
I put everybody on the top 40 or the games. And then I tried to pick those that most would at least consider to potentially qualify for the games. And, or make the top 25, which was another tough thing. Like, you could think somebody's going to make the top 20 or make it to the games, but then do they make it to the top 25? Right. Like somebody comes back and it's like, well, then where do I put them?
Did you
I kind of jumbled
40,
mine.
Tyler?
No.
I just did top 25.
I just did 20. Yeah. I just did top 25. I really want to sit down and really, really think about it, like on this next go. It being so early, it doesn't like my top 25, I think, are solid, but on the next go, like getting down to 40, I would definitely want to give a solid shot. I think I should have time by then to do it.
Start with the men. Just we'll do the podium for the men. Start at number 3.
John. Oh, who we had?
Yeah. Top 3 in your podium.
Oh, okay. We're gonna look at the whole poll afterwards, right?
Yep.
Okay. Oh gosh, I gotta remember who I had for 3. Okay. I had Ricky Garrard. Ricky Garrard is who I think at this moment will be 3rd place in the 2024 CrossFit Games.
Ricky
Garrard. I think I agreed.
Who did I have?
That's why, like, you kind of put me on the spot. I was like,
I don't remember who I had. I'm trying to see. I had Jeff Adler.
His 3rd?
Yeah. Yeah. Jeff Adler in 3rd.
Current fittest man in the world.
Mm-hmm.
You think he's 3rd place?
No, I take mine back. I put Pat as 3rd.
Okay.
I remember now, given that I did it 30 minutes ago. But yeah, I put Pat as 3rd.
Y'all are gonna eat me alive whenever.
Oh my god! If you
just listen. Hey, this is what I think. This is my honest opinion of what I think 2024 is going to happen. Pat is a great pick for 3rd.
But number 2?
Number 2. So number 3, I had Ricky Garrard making a comeback, finishing 3rd. Is he ever going to finish higher? I don't know. But number 2 is going to be Jeffrey Adler. Probably gives one away, but I don't know. Maybe not.
Jeff Adler. Okay.
First, I had Jeff at 4th. For 2nd, I had Ricky Garrard.
So who did you have at 3rd? Oh, okay. Melner at 3rd, Ricky at 2nd.
Yeah. Vellner at 3rd, Ricky at 2nd.
Yeah, and I had Ricky at 2nd as well.
Okay. So you have Jeff at 3rd and Ricky at 2nd?
Yep.
Okay. All right. Y'all are really high on the Ricky train right now.
Hold on. What did you say almost every time we talked about how Ricky would have done in these events this past year?
In these events next year.
Oh my God, Ricky would have killed this. Yeah.
So he finished his 3rd. He finished his 3rd last year.
And you know what? I think Ricky would have finished.
Year.
Yes. I think at this year, how it went out, I think Ricky would have finished 2nd place. Who finished 1st? Not Roman and not Ricky. All right. I think Ricky would have been 2nd place. Okay. Yeah. And who should have finished 1st? Roman. That puts 2 people ahead of Ricky Garrard. Y'all are high on this. Jeff had a wonderful games.
I feel like you're gaslighting us.
There was.
I think Jeff is going to improve.
You went through every event. And you're like, Ricky wins this one. He's top 5 here. Wins this
one. And there's a couple events where he's not top 10. That puts him at 2nd place for this year. That's what I think would have happened.
Jeff bringing up a good point. How much of, because I thought this thought a lot. How much did you change the picks because you were like, this year was just a good programming year for them? Like they just lucked out because of the cuts or the way everything rolled, the roll of the dice. Like to me, that was the major changing factor in a lot of changes.
Well, so for 2024, how I thought about it would be like, okay, where do I think Ricky would make up ground on Jeff? Because here's the thing. Ricky's a great runner. He might win that 5K. Jeff took 2nd. He's not making up very many points, right? Jeff took 4th in the lift. He's making up 6-7 spots on Ricky in that event, right? Helena, that's a great event for Ricky. Who took 1st in that? Jeff killed everybody by like 10 seconds in that workout. So like you should say ski bag. He got like 3rd at home. So 3rd at home is probably 6th at the games, right? Try to find ground. Where do you think Ricky would beat Jeff at?
Other way around. I think 3rd at home is 1st at the games, if anything.
No. You go way harder in the games than you would at home. That 40 laps on the bike, he would try to make a statement. He probably would win that event. Who took 1st in that event?
Koski. But Adler got 2nd.
Adler got 2nd. You see what I'm saying? Everywhere that Ricky's going to be amazing, Adler's really good. And then Adler has these spots that he's really good that Ricky is not really good. You know what I mean? I'm struggling to find ways where Ricky makes up a lot of ground on Adler as far as 1v1, right? But at the end of the day, I think he would be 2nd. But I think Jeff would have still beaten him. But obviously we don't know. But I have Ricky 3rd, Jeff 2nd. And then are we time for 1st? Did everybody say 2nd place? Y'all said Ricky 2nd?
Ricky, yep.
Will Morad. It's coming out hot.
Oh man.
Will's in the chat. Wow.
But okay, 1st place I would have had I think Roman. That's currently who I think in 2024 is going to win the CrossFit Games.
So you go back and forth on this. What's the foot going to do? Do we know what's wrong with the foot? Is it broken? Is it shattered?
I mean, those are.
I don't know.
He's going to be doing pull-ups for a while. I mean, it's probably good for him. All right, do a lot of ring muscle-ups right now, Roman.
Handstand push-ups. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we saw him in semifinals. We weren't sure. Like you just didn't see. He seemed off, and then he came back and he was about as dominant as they could be. I'm not that worried about his foot. I mean, unless we find out in the next month or two that, he can't compete at Rogue, or I assume he probably can't compete at Rogue. I don't know.
But
if
rather
we
have a
don't,
broken foot than a broken hand. That's
I
for
wouldn't
sure.
compete at Rogue if I was Roman. I would just get healthy and then treat Mayhem's gym like a dungeon and then create the monster that you can. And then come out in the games. I wouldn't do Wadapalooza. I would come. The games is the only thing I would do for Roman next year. Get your foot freaking healthy. And then he's talking about a further event, Brian. Go up if you want to bring Kotler in the conversation. I'm down to bring Kotler in the conversation, but you got to give him his full thing if you're going to do that.
Where is it? I didn't see his first one.
He said Ricky would make up a lot of ground in the pig chipper.
That's what I was looking at, that because Adler got 25th on that event, and I was like, that's a good Ricky event.
Well, why didn't you bring it up, man? Don't let Kotler fight your battles for you. If we're going to do this, let's do it.
First. I wanted to confirm that I wasn't wrong, and then you guys had moved on, so I'm too slow. Sorry.
That's fair. That's fair. Ricky would have made up a lot of ground in that event, but I do think it's easier to say in hindsight he would have done great in an event. Like there's going to be an event where Ricky struggles too that we wouldn't have expected, right? But I agree. That's why he's second, y'all. A second is not like crazy. I just don't think he would have beat Jeff.
I'm just saying you have him in third, like he has no chances at beating Jeff. I think he does.
No. Okay, yeah. So third place is not like this year's third place. I think third, second, and first will be very, very close together. Right? Mm-hmm. Like, I wouldn't surprise me if all three of those guys are fighting for first at the end on Sunday. This is just the current order that I think it would shake out. But I think all three of them have a shot. I honestly, right now, I remember how we said it was 5 people the year before, or this year, 5 guys that potentially could get first. I think so far, I mean, what we know now, what we've seen before, I think it's 3 guys. I think it's Ricky, Roman, and Adler, and I don't think Vellner's there, and I don't think Justin's there. It hurts me. I wish Vellner was there. I don't think Vellner will ever get it together for a full event. I think he will always do something. And you know what? I rode the train hard, and I was through and through, and everybody was like, he's not going to win the Gibbs. I'm like, watch what happens. Full confidence. And he just always finds a way to do something. So, like, I'm just off of it. I think it's 3 guys, and I think Ricky's one of those guys, Mr. Kotler. But that's how I think it's going to shake up. That's my prediction.
Pat will do well in semifinals, and then John will be like, "Guess who's going to win the games?"
No, I stick to mine. When I make it, like, this is what it's going to be. I stick to it hard and pray it comes through. And when it comes through, I'm the cockiest person there is. But I'm not going to change my mind on this. I'm putting a stand. I'm off of the Vellner train
too many times, huh?
And listen, and if I'm wrong and Vellner wins, I will be the happiest guy in the world for him. But I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it next year. Okay? Roman's going to win the games. Adler's going to be second. Ricky's going to be third. It's going to be a real close race on Sunday. That's what I'm going to say.
Quick pause here. RB, start a fantasy draft or poll for the 2024 games location. So that is the next segment, and we do have some.
I think we have some good information.
I
can do that pretty easy. Easy.
After we talk about this, it may not be as hard to pick, but we'll see.
Right. One thing I did want to say about Ricky, a lot of like these off the cuff ratings for me. Often, like when I think about Ricky, the thing that changes my mind on him is like he has like the eye of the tiger. Like he's got that crazy like I'll just kill myself thing that I don't see as much out of Adler. Adler looks a lot more calculated.
You're talking Ricky,
and that's why I always give Ricky the upper hand. And what scares me about that is eventually he's going to age up to a point where he doesn't have that look anymore. Now we've yet to see it so far. But that's the only thing. Like he's going to be a ticking time bomb as far as that goes. He'll lose the fire eventually. He'll still be great, but like he'll lose that I'm insane push. You know what I mean?
Ricky?
Yeah. You get to an age where you're just like I can't go. Like
how old is he? He's not getting old.
How old is Ricky?
He's like 28.
Not young. Yeah, that's
prime testosterone time, man. He's ready to fight lions right now.
He's 29 right now, I think.
You got 3 years left.
Oh
Max.
man, that's plenty. What are we talking
Of
about?
the fire. Of the fire. I'm not saying of his career.
Okay.
The fire.
Okay. I would agree with you in the fact that I think Ricky has more, for lack of a better term, like killer instinct. I don't like that term because it makes you think like, oh, in the moment. But like as far as just wanting it more or who's going to hurt the most, you know, I think Ricky is the most like Fraser we've ever seen in anybody is when it comes to that. Hurting in the moment and suffering in the moment. I think he's better than everybody at the games level or anybody competing right now. I would say he is the highest pain threshold out of everybody. I would agree with that. As far as losing the fire, I think everybody's different on that. I'm not going to comment on whether he's going to lose his fire. Like that's a hard thing to say. That's kind of like losing your manhood a little bit. What, you don't want to fight anymore? No. You know what I mean?
Well, you have to think about how I think about it. Like I think it's like touching a hot stove. Like you can jack yourself up to do it so many times, but eventually you're just being like, I don't want to touch the stove anymore. Like I can get close to the stove. Yeah, I'm gonna.
Yeah, what are you talking about? Wait, hey, Will's old. You gonna tell him his desire's gone?
He's an anomaly.
Will's an old man.
An anomaly. There we go.
Huh? You gonna tell him he don't have fire anymore? He had fire in those dumbbell snatches as he wasn't locked out all the way. I'll tell you that.
That dad fire. He's got the dad fire. He's like, I'm gonna turn it on. I'm gonna put the turbo boosters on, and then I need to sit down for a minute. I like Will's. He always like. I never know what's gonna happen with Will, so I don't make predictions about him. Every time I'm like, he's gonna outdo anything that I think he's
sucking
gonna do.
Up to you, Will. Now, Will.
No. I want him to tell me I'm wrong. Will, in the comments, can you go as hard as you went when you were 18?
I would, I just hope you lock out your dumbbell snatches when you're 18. That's what I'm hoping.
Oh man, jeez. They didn't call a no rep, so
no,
it worked.
Yeah, no, you're right. I'm just saying.
There were plenty at the end that
I know. I'm giving him a hard time. I'm giving him a hard time. It's fine. You do what you can get away with. I understand. You're not Danny Spiegel. Okay, that's not what I'm saying.
Will says he can go harder now than he did when he was 18. There's no way.
Tyler, just because you peaked at 18 don't mean everybody peaks at 18.
I had a buddy who said, if you're stronger than me, you're on steroids. It's that sort of mentality. Hopper was the other thing I wanted to talk about. That was hard.
Before you were there, who's number one? Did you have Roman?
Roman, yeah.
We're all
unanimous on Roman.
That's who I have. Hopper. What do you do with Hopper?
Oh, wait, hold on. You're not picking Hopper.
No. I picked Roman.
I thought you picked Hopper for number one. I was like, what?
No, I want to know, what do you do with Hopper?
I put him at 10th. He has all the things that I need to see, but man, this
Can you tell me where I put him, Brian? I don't know where I put him. Can you see it?
10th? 10th or 11th, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I think
he needs to prove himself now.
That was the hard part. It was like, where do you go back? Like, we thought he did great. We thought he was on this great trajectory, and then he throws a dud. Like, does he come back to where he was last year?
Or it even better? Yeah.
And take 7th or something like that? Or does he just take 15th because he gets it back?
I don't think he takes 15th. I think he either is amazing or he's not amazing. And this year he was not amazing. I don't think there is an in the middle. You know what I mean? But that's where I'm going to put him. I'm going to put him in the middle, and then he could just be somewhere between. That way I'm not wrong or right.
Dick Butter brought out the old plopper. I hadn't heard plopper in a minute. Flopper. Maybe that's why we quit making fun of him, and he got cocky, and now we got to bring out the old plopper flopper.
What did you guys do with Guy?
I didn't put him in there.
At all? Top 25 at all?
No, you know what's bad is if he makes it, he's gonna have events where he can win. So he's gonna be, he'll be in there. Gee, I don't know. I'll probably put him like 19th. Like I'm not going to do it until he qualifies for the games, and then when we do the top 25, I'll put him there because he's gonna
even
have.
if he goes to Wadapalooza and crushes it.
Depends who he goes against, Brian. I've told you this. Like these competitions don't mean anything unless you're against top tier competition.
Okay.
Because
right.
you put so much stock into Nick Matthew and Wadapalooza. Well, how'd that end up for you?
I put stock in Paige Powers, and she turned out to be pretty good.
Did you though? Where'd you have her?
I had her about right where she was. Like,
yeah, but I'm saying, didn't we all have her there?
But I was doing it because I called her getting better because of Wadapalooza.
Oh, I didn't put her there because of Wadapalooza. So we both found a way to get there. That's hard. Guy is hard. I'm not going to put him in the top 25 until he makes it. When he makes it, because he probably will, he'll probably be like 18th or 19th just because he's going to have.
I was thinking 20th.
He's going to have event wins, right? And he's going to have 3 events where he can just. I don't know. Jack Farlow might beat him if he makes it again. I don't think it's a given, but he'll have top event finishes, right? He's fitter than Bronislaw. He's fitter than Farlow, and he's got the same home run ability.
It is, and that's the tough part. Like some of these, you're like, well, do they qualify? But if they do, I feel like they're going to do well, like a Guy, right?
Yeah.
How about Medeiros for you guys? And we'll look at the rankings.
I had him 5th.
5th.
I think 5th or 6th is what I have.
Why do I think he's going to improve so much?
Yeah.
Is that what you're asking me? Because he's he used to be the fittest man in the world. He's still got it in there somewhere. You take away his 37th and you give him a 7th, it's 5th.
I think he lost the fire. I'm serious about this. After John, you changed my mind about this because we went on this whole spiel in a text message thread, and I said that he's gotten caught up in the bullshit, the videos, the blogging, all this crap. And then I watched the last part where he was like, we're going to go to Australia, and I think we're going to vlog. And I'm like, if you're not thinking about training and training only right now after that, you're done. The fire's gone. Because he's been doing this since he was young. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's over. He touched the fire too many times. It's over.
he lost that passion.
And this sucks. Like, I like him. I love him as an athlete. He's a fighter. He's a worker. He's not as naturally gifted as like some of these other guys. He works hard, but I just don't think he has it anymore. Say the word desire.
I don't want to say it's done. It's over. I want to see how he does next year. Well, I want to see how he does next year before I say he's never going to win again or it's over. I think he'll be say if he gets 5th next year and does I'm going to put him 5th. So say he gets 5th through 7th. And we don't really see him a lot, but he always does good in most events. He's like Gabby McGowan. Right, Gabby McGowan is sneaky. Nobody picks her for anything, and then she ends up 4th, 5th at the end of the competition because she's good at everything. She just doesn't have this like home run ability. Then you don't see her much, but she's sneaky good at everything. And Medeiros fits that mold a little bit. So like if that's what happens, and we just don't. He's not with those guys. He's not with the top 3 ever, but he ends up 5th or 6th. Quant does this sometimes. I know Quant has his moments, but he's like that a little bit.
I see it more like Katrin.
Katrin's got some home run ability in her, though. What are you talking about after like winning? And then
I'm just saying,
winning
2, and then like kind of just she's close, but just doesn't. She's just not there.
Yeah,
like others have come up, and
Yeah, it would not shock me if that happened. And then but if he finishes like that next year, then I will be on the train with Tyler. I'll say, I don't think he's ever going to win again. He's just going to be, really good at the games, but never, it's over as far as winning, being one of the fittest guys, like the top 5 fittest guys, top 3 fittest guys in the world. But I don't want to say that till next year because I could be, I'm not going to doubt a man's desire the way Tyler is. And then once I see it gone for over a year, then I'm with you. Then I'm with you. I'm not picking him to finish on the podium, right? I'm with you as far as where we're ranking him.
Yeah.
I'm just not going to say, oh, it's over. He's never going to be good ever again until it happens next year too, right? I'm going to give it. I get like Hopper. I'm going to give you a year where it just didn't happen, and then if you can make it happen the next year, then you're back. Like, I'm not going to just be off the train immediately. It's kind of like Fikowski. Fikowski goes up and down all the time. He's probably not ever going to win, but so like I can see.
I don't think it's like Hopper at all. To me, if Hopper screws up for the next 3 years, I still think he's got a chance. Like he's going to take a while to figure out everything.
I'm not off Hopper because he got 31st. Is what I'm saying. I'm not.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
right. Just give it a year, and then if he's like Katrin, then I'm with you, Brian. I'm with you, Tyler. It's probably not ever going to happen again. I'm with you 100% about his video. If you have the worst year of your career, and then the first video you make is telling people why you suck so bad, and then you end it with, I think we're going to go vlog. Like, boy, it doesn't seem like your priorities are in the right spot. But, if he's just trying to, chill out, not let it bother him, and then he comes back from Australia in a couple months, and then it's just head in a dungeon for the next 6 months, who's to say that doesn't pay off? You know what I mean?
We're really like Rich and Matt put off basically their money making until after they had made their hay. You know what I mean? They had done all their work as athletes, and then they were like, okay, now it's time to make money. Rich has probably made way more money now than he ever did as an athlete.
Yep.
Right. And it seems to be the inverse now, is athletes are trying to do the vlog thing. They're trying to do all the stuff. And it's like, I think you have to put that off.
Well, for Froning, there wasn't that much opportunity. Like his Reebok deal was like groundbreaking. Like,
his Panda Express deal wasn't a lot of money.
No, and then Frazier was kind of I feel like Frazier was the start of that, right? Like with him signing with Nike, like that kind of started to take off, and now it's a full-fledged business where you are looking for sponsors. You're looking to monetize early on versus let me go win a whole bunch and then they'll just come to me. So I think it's definitely a different landscape. Let's take a look at the media poll and see how they agree or disagree with us.
Man, that looks like my podium right there. That's my top set. My top 7 is exactly what it is. That's pretty funny. I think isn't that who I have 7 for 7, Brian?
I think it is.
That's funny. That makes me happy.
So Roman, Adler, and Gerard, 1, 2, 3.
Ricky and Adler are
it's very close. One vote difference. One spot. Now this one will update as I get a few more votes in, but as it stands now, that's how it is. What about
Tyler? Is yours in here?
No, it is not.
Did you pull it up?
So then Ricky would be second because Tyler put Ricky second.
He probably would move up. Yeah. What about Dallin?
I think I had him between
Why
6 and
the
8.
freak is Guy Malheiros 8th?
I don't know. A lot of people like him. A lot of people voted for him.
That's really high.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
Yeah, I had Dallin around there.
Who finishes higher, Luke Parker or Guy Malheiros?
If they're both there, Guy.
Just straight up right now.
I think with one more year, Luke will.
I don't see.
I like Luke better than Guy. I know Guy's got.
The problem is, like 2 or 3 events, Guy is going to be top 3. Like he's just gonna do well. So that gives him a lot of points.
The strength events. Yeah. I mean, like we had the lift, and he wouldn't have won the lift this year. I don't think there's any way he would have won the lift.
No, but he's third.
Okay.
Second or third.
But then there's the sandbag and then the The pig.
Hey
Those
guys,
are the
give me a
only other
minute. Somebody's
strength
at my
events.
door. Just go ahead and talk.
Yep.
Yeah. There's the pig and then the ski bag. I don't think he's winning either of those.
No.
I don't think he's getting top 5 on either of those.
I think ski bag he could, because that weight's so light for him. I just think, again, like, we're looking at what happened this year, right? What's going to be like next year? And so we've seen what he can do last year if the programming is in that favor. So, like, yeah, maybe it comes out and it's
You're
like,
just saying overall athlete, you like him better.
I
That's
think
what you're saying.
I think if he is at the games, he has that ability to just be a top 3 on 3, maybe 4 events, like he did last year, or in 22. And so he has that home run capability, and we've seen what that does. You get 2 or 3 home runs, and you're right up there. I mean, look what Colton did. He goes and wins ski bag, and he's 12th in the standings at that point.
Don't compare Gee to Colton, man.
I'm saying that it's one great finish, especially if you're in that 11 to 20th spot, can really catapult you up the leaderboard. And Gee has that capability. I don't think Luke Parker does.
I would agree with that, but I think Luke Parker as a whole is fitter than Gee. Straight up.
Maybe.
Yeah, I agree. It's like I agree
Like,
with
who
both.
wins
I think
more
Luke
events,
is better.
what I'm saying.
Yeah, but then Gee's going to have some of those that he takes first or second.
Yeah, yes, he will have more points. But I'm just saying, if they were in a gym together, I say Colt or Luke wins 8 of the 12 workouts.
And then they tie for points.
Well, no, I mean, Gee probably still finishes higher than him just because Gee will get first or second, and Luke's going to be 20th in all of those events, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just the way the points are.
Yeah. Yep. Corey Polito, he's late, but he was on Instagram following JY Barbell. So
thank you, Corey. One of the few real ones.
You got so many.
I know.
Real quick, Wad Zombie 499. Thank you, Nick. You heard the Buttery Bros. Colton has an advantage. He does. He's short, right? That's what they. If you're short, you can just do.
He got pretty revved up about that. That was.
I'm glad that he did.
I did too.
Yeah.
But
I think people disregard Colton a lot for the events that he wins.
Yeah, they don't talk about what he did well when nobody expected him to, like intervals or the parallel pull.
Well, I mean, even the 5K, I know, or the 5K and the bike, I know he got like 21st. Those used to be 30ths. And worse. For him to be 20 mid-pack on 5, and listen, these are the fittest guys in the world, right? For him to be middle of the pack in those workouts is insane. And like, I don't think people talk about that enough. And like, whenever when he thinks he can he thinks he can win the games one day. And like, my initial reaction's like, bro, right. That's my initial reaction. Right. But if he makes those 10th place finishes, 12th place finishes, and then just gets a little bit lucky with the programming and has 4 event wins, who's to say he can't get around the podium? Like, if he gets that much better, because he has thus far improved little by little, but for him to get 20th in those is crazy. And I don't think people understand how crazy that is. Though that's way better than his ski bag win event, I personally think. And that's why he's so high on the board. That's why he's 18th in the world. It's because of those events, not
ski bag.
Not ski bag,
yeah. Yellow Hoste, biggest jump, 15th on the media side. Do we like that?
On the media, he's 10th, or on the, so this is fan poll, he's 10th. Media poll, he's 15th.
This is the media poll.
No, this is what he was ranked. He was ranked 25th going into the games. So we've now moved him up. So
I think that's fine.
Yeah. So what you see here,
I think it's too high.
He finished 10th at the games.
He finished 10th at the games,
and he moved up. And he moved up 15 spots from the last poll.
You're weighing this year's games way too high. If he's,
it's the only thing we have to weigh.
I know, and that's the problem. It's recency bias. I don't like it. I think 15. 15 is fine. I don't think 10.
Where did you have him?
Around 15.
Brian, where did I have him?
I don't know. Let me see.
John's trying to check his facts before he goes to argue with me, and then he's got him at 15.
No, I might have him at 15. I don't mind him being that high, but
You had him 15th.
and we,
I had him closer to 10th or 11th.
Why?
To me, 10 and 15 is not that big of a jump.
It's the same. It's the same story as Guy. Like, we've seen that he has the capability on certain workouts to be near the top, and I think we said it. He was like a Brent Fikowski, and I think he performed a lot like a Brent Fikowski in this. And so maybe the programming doesn't line up for him next year, and he takes 15th or 20th. Maybe it's similar, and he ends up taking 10th again. I don't see it's unreasonable to do that.
Yes, hold on. I want to answer this question real quick. Can you put Benita up real quick?
Benita. Oh, here we go.
Guys, Yella, his strength is endurance. It's fitness. Okay? It is how fit are you? That is the games. Okay? There is the strength events is specialty. The gymnastic events are specialty stuff. But to do good in CrossFit workouts, it's your lungs. Your lungs have to be really good in order to do the gymnastics and then the weightlifting. You're out of breath the whole freaking time. Every event you're out of breath unless it's straight up gymnastics or straight up strength. Guy has 2, maybe 3, if he's lucky, events where his strength is he gets to show it and it's great. And then he has 9 events where he's not great. It's really against him because you got to be actually fit. Yella is the opposite. He's got 9 events where he's going to be okay unless it's too heavy for him, right? If that pig's too heavy, then that's one of the events. The weightlifting event, that's one of the events, right? But there's so many more as far as making the games goes, which is how fit are you? I think Yella's going to have an easy time making it. It's not like Guy at all. Like, do not compare those two people. All right, Yella is way more like Fikowski, who was second in his semifinal. Like, the Open, they're not going to do good. Yella and Fikowski, they're not going to do good. Semifinals, they're going to be fine. All right, they are not the same. I don't want Yella to be compared to Guy. It's different. I'm not mad. I don't mean to get mad, sound mad, but it's way different.
If it's about their home run ability, I think it's somewhat similar. Looking back at how Guy did last year, he had like 4 great finishes, and he had like 3 or 4 really bad finishes. Yella was a little bit better in that, tighter finish range. Like he didn't have as many extremes as what Guy did, which probably goes to what you're saying, John, is he doesn't have that type of hole in his game.
Are we all smiling at Will?
Yeah.
Please get mad.
I'm sure we'll say something that'll piss me off.
He's having too much fun at home alone in the dark room by himself. That's what he's doing.
All right. Let's see. Going down the list.
What about Jay Crouch? Do you think that's appropriate? I know you said 19th was wildly inappropriate before the games, Brian.
Go ahead, Brian.
I struggled with him because I'm like, was it just a fluke? Like, did the programming just fit him, or has he figured something out in the last year?
Yeah. What did his coach say? What's his coach's name again? The games athlete. Anyway, his coach, when asked why Jay was better this year, he said he decided to try harder. That's good. What his official quote was. And so, to me, I'm high on Jay. I love all Australians every time. I'll vote them high every single time. I don't know why. But so the question to me comes down to, do we like this year's programming, and do we think this type of programming is here to stay? It is not Dave classic. It seems like Boz and Dave have finally made a baby, and I like the baby. Do you all? Do you or do you not like the baby?
It's fine. I wish the baby had a barbell in his hand, but I mean, it's fine. I'm not against it.
Yeah, I'm curious to know what next year looks like, because we'll have a all Boz program and we have a Boz with some Dave influence. Because I assume that Bosman had pretty much all of it kind of programmed, and then maybe Dave threw in some tweaks. Does Dave have more of an influence for the whole season and what that looks like for the games? And so I don't think this year will be the same as what we see next year. I think it'll kind of shift a little bit more towards Castro. Like it can go a little bit more that way. I think a lot of it still had that Boz fingerprint in it with Castro inserting some parts of it. But I think Dave may take a little bit more, not say ownership, but a bigger say into it, because he's there from the beginning. He didn't want to go in there and blow it all up a month out, right? So,
yeah, and I mean, I think Boz has always leaned more towards execution and not as much suffering, or just go forever, who can go the longest, right? And when it's more geared towards execution, some guys can just have a really good weekend and they execute when others don't. And I mean, I kind of agree with you, Brian. I think Jay Crouch did so good because the programming suited him a little bit more than normal, but I also think he executed better than most people. And he finished 8th this year.
yes. Yep.
I don't think he will finish in the top 10 next year, but I still think he'll be top 20.
I mean, I think if he figured out what it does, like how to get there, like, does that turn on a switch and he can, kind of keep riding that wave? He knows what it takes. He understands that. So I don't have him staying in the top 10 like you, John, but somewhere in that 13 to 15 range, I think would be.
No, that's what I said.
Kind of a good expectation for him.
Yeah,
and he could outperform it, or he could probably fall a little bit. But I thought it was interesting. People still have Chandler Smith. I'm almost positive he's going team with Noah. But
yeah, I didn't put him in because I thought he was going team. I didn't put him or Noah because if that changes, then I'll put it back.
I totally forgot. I ranked him, and now that you're saying that, I'm like, it was a bad move.
Yeah. Saxon Panchik back in the rankings after missing this year. Again, I think if he makes it to the games, he finishes better than 18th.
I think.
But I think a lot of people may not have put him into that.
Do you consider moving back home if you're him or Spencer now?
They're both. Saxon is proven. Spencer is Nick Fowler.
Yeah, I don't think Spencer's in Nashville. I think it's just Saxon.
Yeah, Spencer's.
I mean,
I don't think
back
it's
home
Utah,
as in the. I'm getting back under Scott to me.
Spencer had like the best year he could have asked for. He's been.
That's true.
Proving.
I don't know. I just think like they were on the rise.
I think Saxon was on the rise. Spencer was always a little behind.
Yeah. I would, but I mean that's just me.
Look at all this Will Morad hate.
I
know. It takes 14th and drops. Hopefully he's not watching anymore.
Will, I had you much higher just in case.
I think I did too.
I did. I actually did. I was like, man, I've been too down on him.
I finally convinced you.
Yeah. No. I mean, I got convinced for sure. Yeah. No, I didn't have much higher, but I had him higher than that.
It's to the point for me where you could literally stab Will in the legs with 2 knives, and I'd be like, yeah, he's probably going to get 15.
He's not watching anymore, Tyler. You can stop sucking up.
I'm not.
Good grief. If you want Tyler to rank you high, you just got to jump in the comments. You don't even have to join the show. You just got to jump in the comments.
It makes sense out of Bailey then. I ranked him high. He never been around.
Travis Mayer bumping back up.
I think Travis Mayer, Samuel Quant, and Cornway are criminally ranked way too low this year. People, you want to talk about weighing the games too much this year? People,
Yup.
Sam's back was broken. Quant had heat stroke, and Mayer had a broken wrist.
Yeah. And Saxon had a
Travis-
broken foot, essentially.
Travis will make a push to be top 5 this year, guaranteed. He's never had this much time off.
There's training think tank for you.
No. He's an athlete. And
rough.
think about the
I
programming.
want you to think about what you're doing, Tyler.
I know what I'm doing.
Listen,
what are you
take
doing?
a deep breath. Take a deep. I'm being
This is the year.
correct. That's
Bro.
what I'm doing.
Bro, he's got more energy. You talk about fire. That dude's never lost the fire in his
How
eye.
old is he?
He's old as hell. That doesn't matter.
You have contradicted yourself on this point so hard.
No.
Will change his mind. Will's changed his mind.
I'm serious, guys. Top 5. Quote me now. Will, you're not our IT guy, but click this and bring it back up when I'm right.
Hey, how'd Hopper do this year?
Shut up.
Listen, Tyler, I seriously think you have a curse. Anytime you go in hard on somebody, it's so badly to go the other way. I think you should take it back for Travis's health. I'm serious. He's going to get hurt again if you're so high on him.
Take out an insurance policy on that. Yeah.
Travis, Saxon, Samuel Cornway, I think you guys are all around 15th. Give or take 5. Okay, that's where all 3 of you should be, is around 15th, give or take 5. You all are criminally ranked way too low.
Yep. Am I hype on Travis? Yes, but 15th is a good spot. Like at any given time, doesn't matter. Like the argument you and I were having about Noah, at any given moment, Travis can get 15th. Sam, I think he has a much better career ahead of him. I think it was just a bad year for him. So
yep.
I agree.
Real quick to the fan poll. This time, Jeff Adler holds the number 1 spot, followed by Roman, and Pat is in 3rd. Ricky got 1 vote, but down in 4th.
I knew the fan poll would be way more recency biased.
Two.
The women are going to be so fun, dude. The women are going to be off the chain.
I think there's very much so the recency bias. I think everybody did for a lot of it. Like Chandler's in there. There aren't that many differences. Like, Hopper's not as high, Gee's not as high. So I kind of do applaud the fans maybe on that part of it. Nick Matthew is not in the media poll, which I thought was interesting.
Hold on. I got to respond to Will real quick. You can put his up real quick.
All right. Will said, unless they get lucky a few times like Colton, then they could win. Just quoting John. Gotta love saying if they get lucky, they could win.
All right. You're telling me that Echo Press bike workout that you won wasn't lucky that came out, Will? All right. When that came out, you could not have asked for a better program workout for you to win. And it was heavy hitters and then you. You're the only one that could do it. All right. That is lucky. I mean, you're the best handstand push-upper in the CrossFit Games world. I don't think anybody's better than you. I don't think Colton's better than you. I don't think Noah's better than you. I think you're the best. I've seen your 100 strict handstand push-ups for time. I know what you got. That is a lucky workout for you, okay? Get out of here, Will. Goodness.
What's amazing is the great thing about John, like Will, if you were in front of us, like at the media place at the games, and you were to come up to us and say, I would try to articulate what John said in a nice way, make you feel good about it, warm you over for a couple minutes, and then kind of ease into that. John just goes straight for your throat. And he wouldn't have done it any different if you were face to face with him.
I mean, I'm honest.
I don't know if you call it lucky. Right, like
good fortune.
Those events come out, right? Like handstand push-ups are in the games.
Yes, but if a handstand push-up event,
except for this year,
every handstand push-up, you could have had this year, right? Their handstand push-up events are not made equal. You know that handstand push-ups are not made equal.
Will needs a spot on this show.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I don't know. I mean, that's saying that like a 5K run was lucky for Yella.
Okay, that's fair.
Or an Olympic total
replace,
is lucky for Will or for Jack Farlow.
It is, but we can replace the word lucky. You have strengths and weaknesses, and some events come out that really favor your strengths, right? Every athlete's like that, right? Except the fittest have their strengths, they have way more strengths than they have weaknesses. Let's replace the word luck with something else then. Lucky's might be the wrong term.
Preparation meets opportunity.
If you want to use luck, I'd say it's the opposite way. Like lucky is not having to swim for Velda.
Lucky is Laura Horvath not having the handstand push-up workout this year.
Look at the opposite way, right?
Almost doesn't seem like luck.
Because you have.
I feel like okay. You get what I'm saying, though. I don't have the right word to describe it.
Luck's a bad word, but yes, I know what you mean.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hopefully Will does too. All right, next topic.
All right, women. Quickly, podium for the women.
I mean, when you win fittest in the world, Will, you're not lucky. You're just good.
So we're going to start at third first?
Yep. Yes. I'll start because I think you're.
This is hard to remember, Brian. You put us. Okay.
I have toss-up here.
I have Emma Lawson in third.
I think I do too. I think I have Emma Lawson third as well.
I think I did too.
You're so confident.
All right. Second place, Laura Horvath.
Tia.
Whoa.
Oh.
Please don't say Mal is going to win. You're.
So I put Mal at fourth, and
okay.
I allowed recency bias to dictate that on two accounts. One, Emma won, and she has some room to grow. And I think she is growing. And then two, I don't trust what's going on with Mal right now. Like, we haven't seen her. We have no idea. So until you can prove me otherwise, I'm going to side against you for the moment. You're still great. I still think you can actually win the games, but I need to see it. I need to see what the machine looks like before I put my endorsement on it. Mm-hmm. And then Tia, it's like she just had a baby. She's the fittest woman who's ever lived. Probably the fittest human who will ever live. But it's been a long time. She had a baby. We'll see. I'm giving it to Laura if handstand push-ups don't show up.
Listen, she had the greatest event she could have asked for with handstand push-ups this year. It's not going to be that good again. It's not. It might not be the worst case scenario, but it's not going to be like it was this year. Right. I think she'll have a harder finish in whatever handstand push-up workout comes out. But I agree 100% with you with Mal. Like, you just can't place her that high. I have her fourth as well. I had Emma third, Laura second, and then I have Tia. Listen, Tia is so much better than everybody. I know she just had a baby, but I wouldn't have Tia this high if Annie Thorsdottir didn't do what she freaking did. But Annie Thorsdottir had a baby and came back and was third place. And it was unprecedented. I'd never seen anything like it. But since Annie could do it and get third, I think Tia can win again, right? And Tia was above everybody by so much. Like, I just think Tia is going to win. I don't, and maybe she won't, but it's hard for me to say Tia's not going to win.
Yeah, I'm the same way, John. I just don't. She's going to come back, and she's not going to have any of those holes anymore.
She's already doing weighted pull-ups.
Yeah. Yeah. Tia never struggled to win the last few years. Like, again, she's so far out that I just don't know if Laura can make up that ground. So, as for the media poll, Tia overwhelmingly has the most. Mal is down there in eighth.
Y'all forgot how good that little girl was, man. I know she looks like Wednesday Addams, but dude, she's freaking crazy. Y'all need to.
And I think
That's what I call her. I call her the White Witch.
the 23 games is messed up on there, but the points are accurate. But Ariel Lowen, 5th, Gabby Magala, Emma Carey, Danielle Brandon in 10th, Katrin in 11th.
Alexis is too low.
In 7th.
She was 6th this year.
Yeah.
And you have Mal and Tia coming back. And Haley Adams.
Yeah.
I know Haley Adams is ranked way down there, but that's just because people forgot about her. Listen, Haley is fitter than Alexis. She's not stronger. But just workouts, I take Haley all day.
Jake's making some good points in talk about bias, but I mean, he does make some good points. Like, why aren't we hype on Alex? Why aren't we putting her in the top 3?
Oh, why is she not top 3? All right, Jake, if you're watching, I have Alex Kazan 5th right now, and I told Alex when she was on Sevon that I probably would have her 5th. That is improving in my opinion. 5th place with all the women back, all of them back, is like 3rd place this year. Like if you really think about it. It's Emma is freaking 18 years old. It's hard for me to think that she's not going to improve too. Right? I think Alex is going to improve. I think Emma's going to improve. I think Alexis is going to improve. But it's Tia, Laura, Emma, Mal, and then I have Alex Kazan. Until Alex Kazan can beat one of those people in competition, it's really hard for me to say she's going to. Does that make sense? Like I have her beating Ariel. Ariel was 3rd. I have her beating Alexis.
You're a proof guy. You're not a speculation guy.
I have to see it. When it comes to the top people, the top 3, the podium, I have to see it before I can say they can do it. For instance, I picked Vellner to win this year, right? I never thought Justin was as good as everybody else thought he was. I was very vocal from that in the beginning, right? Right? Like, yep. But you can't tell me Alex is going to beat Tia. You can't tell me Alex is going to beat Laura. Laura was ahead of everybody by 200 points except Emma Lawson. You think Emma Lawson's not going to improve? She's 18 years old. And then Mal O'Brien and Alex Kazan, that is the battle you can have. She could be, maybe I have her too low. I have Mal too high, maybe. But Mal O'Brien was a monster. It's just, and she was 2nd fittest in the world. She beat everybody that wasn't Tia.
And think about how much time she's had off. Like, I mean, Travis's podium. I mean, think about Mal. She's had as much time off and not been hurt. I mean, she's
younger.
She's hurt in the head though. It's much different.
She has the crazy fire too, though. Like
I don't know if she does. It could be gone.
Right. That's true.
We don't know what to know about Mal. Yeah. I just know the last time I saw her, she was the 2nd fittest woman in the world with all of the women there. Not 3 of the top 5 gone.
The thing that sets Mal above Emma for me on anything, like I would give it to Mal almost in a heartbeat. Emma doesn't seem to have the same swagger or self-confidence. Like she always seems calculated and a little bit too plays it too safe. And Mal I think is a little bit more risky, and I like to see that in an athlete. I think that's what gets you gets you in first. So I think.
How about this, Tyler? From
I know,
Will.
I was
Alexis is definitely going to progress this year. Train with next year's champ, Travis Mayer.
Damn straight.
We know. We need to get you a training think tank shirt.
I know. I don't know why I get CTPs. Everyone.
Now I tell you what. If you could guarantee me they were not going to snatch heavy, Alex Kazan might be in 4th, but you can't.
Julia Ifford brought up a good point about Haley, why she ranked so low. And it's like, because I don't think anybody really thinks she's coming back. If you put a gun to my head right now, I'd say, no way. She ain't coming back.
What, you don't think that about Mal?
I think Mal's coming back.
But you don't think that about Haley? What's the difference?
I don't know. There's no stats on this. This is hard for me. I just get that vibe. Watching people. That's
build it back.
Build it. That was the last post she had
right there.
6 hours ago. Build it back.
She's building back the 200-pound front squat she's got.
There you go.
That was mean. I'm sorry. Haley. I doubt Haley will watch this, but that was mean.
So who knows? Maybe
It just
she.
doesn't feel like it.
I mean So that's the tough part, right? Like, I almost felt like it was hard to hedge your bets, right? Like, do you think somebody is going to come back or not? Maybe you rank them a little bit lower than if they do, right?
Which is funny because we're not betting anything and we're hedging.
But if Mal comes back,
hold on. We have no idea. Like, this is literally just us what we think. There is not like a ton of stats. We have no idea what Mal's gonna and Haley's gonna have. The women and Tia come back from a baby. The women were so incredibly hard to. There's not like this for sure is gonna happen. The men, I feel very confident. With the men. The women, I have no clue. This is just what I think.
Yeah, and like if Mal comes back and she's what Mal can be, she's probably podium, right? If Haley comes back and she's what she can be, she's potentially top 5, potentially, right? But we don't know. We don't know if they're the same athlete when they come back. So that's the tricky part. And some people I think may have ranked them lower because they're unsure and not sure if they have what Tyler would say is desire. Danielle Brandon, 11th. Big fall from what she was ranked heading into the games. I thought it was interesting. Paige Powers dropped. She made a big improvement this year and then dropped down.
I mean, it's Mal and Haley.
And Tia.
And Mal and Tia, then where's Haley at?
I guess Haley's down there.
So it's just Mal and Tia. I feel like I think we're gonna see a lot of that. Just 2 people south of what they did. You know what's hilarious? Now that Danielle Brandon is properly ranked, I'll probably pick her higher than what the fans are going to pick her. Y'all just way overhyped her this year.
Yeah. Brooke Wells back in there, 13th. Annie Thorstadter, same spot. Emma Tall, after an 11th place finish, in 15th. I was a little surprised by Olivia Kerstetter.
Do you think she'd be higher?
Yes.
I think
this is appropriate.
I do too. I think she got a helping hand from the cuts.
This is media, correct?
This is the fan poll. The media one had the rankings out of order, so I didn't want to use it. Okay. That'll get updated after I get Tyler and a few others added to it. I just think she has a big runway to improve. And so I know that, there's now 4 ahead of her that weren't at the games this year. But like, can she beat Karen Freyova? Does she have a higher ceiling than Karen? Probably. Emily Rolfe, probably.
I think that's it.
You think so?
Like really think about it. Like, who do I think? I think Olivia could beat Emily.
Could she not catch like an Emma Tall or a Paige Powers?
I don't think so. Not
next year.
Yeah, not next year.
Not 1 year.
I could see her continuing to improve and kind of like Paige has done, right? And like maybe be 15th next year and then 10th the year after that. And then maybe she keeps climbing. Just, we don't know her potential, right? Yeah. But I don't think, man, I don't think we see an Alex Kazan like jump from Olivia.
She's proven now.
Yes.
Olivia.
Yeah. She moved over
weird
right after.
Yeah,
she moved right after Wadapalooza.
She's proven. She's training with them. I mean, Hepner's in her life.
It was weird because Hepner was there.
They're best friends. Like he's basically a mentor.
Mm-hmm. That's probably a good way of saying it right now.
Yeah,
training partner and mentor.
With him, like he always seemed protective of her, and like from a longevity standpoint, like let's take this easy. You're 17, like let's just go slower. And I think if she keeps that sort of pace, I mean, we could definitely see her in top 10 within the next 2 to 3 years. But within a year, I don't think she's going to take like Emma Tall or anything.
I also get the vibe where they don't want to put a lot of pressure on her to do that. Like it's not. I'm going to get top
Why?
10.
Why would you?
I'm going to. Well,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like I don't. I think they're very hard up against having what happened with Mal and Haley, and I honestly think it's smart. You know, I felt like Dallin was the same way. I felt like Dallin was just little bit, and then all of a sudden he was top 5, and now he's like, you know, people think he can podium. Like I think they're just trying to be smart with it with Olivia, and I think that's the best way to do it. I wouldn't, you know, but if she doesn't have any pressure on her, it's less likely to like take that big monster jump because she doesn't have the obsession that you have to have. You know, that we've seen from like Mal.
This is
right?
an interesting. This is an interesting time we're going through now because we are having some young athletes, especially in women, who are seeming to make it earlier, and so we don't really have a farm league. Like you don't go up through AA, single A, AAA. Like you don't have these buildups until you go pro. And so the only way that we can do that is to say, like, well, why don't we have sustained growth versus like, we're just going to try to get you to number 1 as fast as possible. I mean, think about how much more money Olivia could make if she's a perennial games athlete. She comes back every year and she's just climbing the leaderboard. You know, she's way more marketable. She's way more of a safer bet if you are an advertiser, somebody who wants to put your name on her. And I like that versus like, you're just going to have some people who come out the gate and you're like, you're going to be top 3 and we need to get you there as fast as possible. For her, I think you do a sustainable growth thing. And that's from a money-making standpoint.
What do you guys make about Amanda Barnhart in 22nd? And even Ellie Turner in 24th?
I think Ellie Turner's too low, and I think I have no idea what to think about Amanda Barnhart. I don't know what Amanda Barnhart's doing. I can't comment on Amanda Barnhart until I learn more about what she's going to do next year.
How do you explain her 24th this year?
She got a kid.
Yeah. Yeah, she fostered.
Well, it's not going to go away.
No,
well,
but
you know, you get better at having a kid, though.
It
was 4 months of having a kid. She's figuring it out, right?
Yeah, training took a back seat, right? And
you get better at it, you know. So I've heard.
It is true. I think you get accustomed to it. You figure out how to fit it in your schedule. I feel like the last 4 months was quite the learning curve. So again, like she has the capability to be a top 10 athlete. So I think she's probably a little too low on that. Based on her potential.
I could see her going team though, so it doesn't take as much out of her day. You know,
she'd be a great team athlete.
So
I know Noah and Chandler are hoping for it, but you know,
she and Chandler were training camp partners.
Yeah, so you know, maybe they get along real good. I don't know. I don't know anything, and so I just just gonna wait. I think that's about where I had her in my ranking. I might have had her like 18th or something, but it's just hard to say anything about her until more comes out.
Mm-hmm. How about Spiegel? What do we make?
Who? I don't see her.
She is
Manny Kegel.
Technically 26th. 1 vote out from being in the top 25.
I like that. 1 place from making it. That's where Danny Spiegel's going to be. You know, if she cared a little bit more, maybe she could get in there, but she doesn't. So 1 spot for making it in. That sounds good.
Tyler? What did she get last year?
She was 1 spot from making it to the CrossFit Games last year.
The year before that, she was 16th at the Games.
That's what I was asking. 16th at the Games. I mean, man, it's like when she hits hard. And it's like I could see her getting 12th at the Games.
God, no.
I don't know.
She got 16th.
Yeah, that was like she got so lucky. That was the year Guy got 7th, wasn't it? Yeah, you think Guy's a top 10 athlete? Really, we'll talk about getting lucky with the events. They got lucky with the events that year, okay? There was 3 basically max out strength sprint events. No. She's really, really strong. Okay? If she makes it, she's exactly like Guy. In my opinion, Danny Spiegel is exactly like Guy. Okay? If she makes it, yes, she's probably going to win 1 or 2 events. You know, if she gets lucky, and I think it's the appropriate term now, she'll get 3, right? But no, she's not fit enough to be better than 16th. You have to be fit.
I can see her doing it. The thing that I don't see is her dedication to it anymore. She's starting to venture out. She's starting to do different stuff. I mean, you don't go to Dubai or wherever it was the week before semifinals and truly care about doing this anymore. And I don't think that that's going to get any better. Like, that's a drastic call. Why would you ever do that?
Right.
If you were invested. And so I don't think that's going to get any better. So I don't even know that I would rank her as high as they have her as far as that goes. Priorities.
Is that because you don't think she can qualify, or if she does make it, that's about where she finishes?
I don't think she can qualify any more if she keeps the priorities that she has.
I think if she got rid of 1 million of her followers, she would qualify.
Because
I think if she deleted Instagram, she could be top 10 material.
Does that go back to what we were talking about with maybe
grinding in a dungeon
and the mentality, the monetization, what you're trying to achieve versus what it used to be back in the day?
What do all of the NBA athletes and the football athletes, they all say it's playing the game isn't the thing that they get paid for. It's dealing with all the crap. If you can focus on training, that's what matters. That's what wins championships. But people have a hard time dealing with all the other crap. And she gets riled up in it. I'm not making any statements on her personal life and the way she does stuff, whatever. It's just that if you're not thinking about training every day and being in the gym, you're just not going to be there.
This might be the best comparison ever. $1.99 from Eric Weiss. John is the Spin Podcast, Stephen A. Smith.
I don't know if that's
how does that make you feel,
or a compliment. Is it supposed to be?
It's an insult. It's an insult.
You know, Stephen A. makes good money.
He gets fired up. John gets fired up just the same.
That's better than Skip Bayless. Like, I called Skip Bayless on one of them, and I really didn't like that one. So we're improving. We're improving.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be Colin Cowherd one day, and then we're gonna be good.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
He disagrees.
All right. 2024 CrossFit Games. We'll wrap it up with this. So lots of rumors of where things are going in 2024, what that looks like. Tyler, you had heard some rumors. What can you share of what might come down the pipe for next year?
We're talking about the location of the games,
or format, or whatever. I mean,
like
from what I heard, there was a lot of stuff floating around.
Breaking news right here on Barbell Spin. Where are the games going to be in 2024?
I mean, so at the games, I heard information that would back Birmingham again. It would back. I even heard Aromas was like legitimately being thought about. But the one that I heard the most backing for was Fort Worth.
Fort Worth, Dallas area.
And even if it wasn't Fort Worth, Texas was being rolled around more than anything.
Any reason why? Or is it just that was the kind of commonality?
Tired of them complaining about
dive into it?
That's up to you.
The main thing was that I had heard that Dallas had put in. So, okay, I'll just go full into it. Dallas had put in, or Fort Worth had put in a bet for this thing, and that they have all kinds of state and local funding. And so they sent a whole package to CrossFit Bank, basically saying, you can do this for free if you come to our city. And that was close to being signed, but not signed the last day that they wanted to announce it. Supposedly they were going to announce it at the games, and the deal wasn't done. And so that's what I've heard.
And the reason they're leaving Madison is because Madison's local government wanted them to pay more to be.
Is that true? I didn't hear that.
I got that from an Uber driver in Madison who's friends who's friends with the government, guy who works in local government. That's who I got that from. Take it with what you will, but they are leaving Madison, so he said
So he was probably right.
He said he's real tight with somebody who's in local government, and he's like, the way they're running Madison is ridiculous, man. He went on a full rant, and me and Leslie were just, there for the ride. But so it all lines up, though, So
yeah, you start connecting the dots. So you had kind of brought this up, Tyler, after our show last week, and I remember back in 21 when they were doing the RFP for the next 3 years, Fort Worth had a bid out there, and I brought up the website, and what I wanted to go bring that up today, right, to kind of show everybody what could be out there. But now when you go search that link is dead and it's password protected. So the RFP that was out there for the last 2+ years is now gone.
So there's two reasons they could do that. One is that they don't want the confirmation out there that that's what's going to happen, or two, they don't want the misinformation out there that that's what's going to happen, right?
Potentially. I don't know if anybody outside of a few of us are talking about it in the sense that Fort Worth officials would be like, oh, don't put that out there. If you've had it out there for 2 years, like, why would you all of a sudden pull it down?
Well, we don't believe in coincidences.
I was able to find a screenshot or a picture that's still out there on Google Images, and this was part of their bid. And it's really, really blurry. It's hard to see, but this is like an overlay of their a part of where they were going to propose the games from. I guess it would be 2022, 23, 24. I think is what the RFP was for. So 2 years ago, this was a page in it where Fort Worth had this bid of, hey, here's our facilities. Here's how we could, utilize it. So I just think it's interesting. Last Wednesday night, it was still up there 2 years after the proposal. And then all of a sudden it's down. So it's an interesting thought. Also, another thing, next year's the Olympics. And,
where is it?
Not Fort Worth.
No, no, I don't know where it is. But do we think there's any chance that they try to change the schedule of the games to not have it line up with the Olympics, or does that even matter?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's not going to matter. Paris. It's in Paris.
The people that watch CrossFit will pick CrossFit over the Olympics. I don't think it would hurt their viewings.
No.
It's
too hard to watch the Olympics. Like, you only watch a few events, even if you
and on ESPN, like, they don't show the Olympics. That's NBC or what. I mean, the Olympics is actually really hard to watch. Last year,
it is.
Oh shoot! Do y'all hear that? It's like fuzzy.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on.
I don't either.
RB, weird note, Fort Worth has been contracting with a consultant to make it a blue zone. They are pushing community wellness. So
What does blue zone mean?
Tyler, it's you, man. You got to fix something.
So that's interesting.
He goes, I don't hear anything.
Because it's him.
Are we good?
It's different.
Are we good now?
Yeah,
it's
that's
better.
Coming through your computer, I think. I just think it's funny because everybody talks about Madison as being hot and humid, and then you go down to Texas.
Oh man,
in August,
it's gonna be great. Ariel Lowen might win the CrossFit Games as bad as everybody complains about the heat.
Yeah.
Where's Emma Lawson from? Canada?
Yeah.
I might put Alex Kazan ahead of Emma Lawson if we're in Texas.
Do you think it would move inside? do a lot more stuff inside.
That's what I was gonna say. We'll either do a lot of stuff inside, or we'll do more stuff at night, or close to sunset.
I agree. I think they'll have more indoor
Could it be switched?
capacity.
The inside is during the day, and then the nighttime is outside.
Yeah, that'd be sick. Friday night lights, Saturday night lights.
Yeah.
What are the chances that we move it later, like not in August, like September or something like that?
It still would be way hotter than it is in Madison.
Magnus Holmgren, was it not on Ticketmaster, the CrossFit Games in San Antonio?
That was Duality. It said CrossFit Games, but it was just
it was very good
competition.
Very good marketing, I think.
People didn't know what they're paying for.
Wow, it's a steal. I'll do that and sign up for it.
What? It did like 3 months. They have another one? Oh man.
Yeah. It was tricky though. They had Medeiros on there. It said CrossFit Games event, San Antonio. But no, it is a local competition, Duality. I think it's been around for a little bit. But if you want to go and you're around San Antonio, $35. All right, guys. But it's a dry heat. Can you confirm, John?
I mean, I'm in Houston. It's humid over here.
I was going to say, stay one day in Southern Alabama and tell me dry heat's not better.
Yeah. Good deal, guys. Good show. One note, didn't really have time to talk about it, but the Ricky Garrard at Hyrox. What I've come to find out is that first lap that shows him running like ridiculous speeds. Apparently, some Hyrox courses have a shorter first run, yet they compare it against everything else. Also, the sleds have like carpet on the bottom or something, and so the first time they use it in an area, it slides faster and easier than if it's been used at a place over and over again. So they have just as many problems as we do at CrossFit with either distances or sleds. And what I've noticed is
they don't advertise them though near as much.
And the Hyrox community is very, very fired up about anybody talking about Hyrox stuff. So
wait, they'll come at us if we go after them or something.
Anytime I post something, it's like, oh, that's I get plenty of comments about this or that, or why I was wrong, or how you can't do this, or how it's a better test. They're a very fired up community.
I will say it was a very cool article that you had on your site, the Barbell Spin site, where you compare him and Hunter McIntyre. It's crazy how I knew that about Hunter, but like how uniform his runs are, how consistent his runs are, and how Ricky, who, if you're in CrossFit or if you're elite CrossFitter, you would think how to pace, and he's a good runner. He should know paces, right? And he progressively dies. Like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like he's the guy that comes out too hot. Now I know it's over an hour, but he's the guy he's Noah Olson, right? In Hyrox 60-minute workout. It's just pretty crazy. Just the pacing, I thought, was very, very interesting.
Yeah, 4:49 is just under an 8-minute mile. Like, you're not going to be elite running that pace when Hunter's running sub 6 the entire time.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, he like he said, I'd kind of like to drop 20 pounds and give it a real go, because he knows that's what he would have to do to be competitive. But he's not going to. So I mean, it's just a fun thing for him to do. It's kind of like Rich in the Leadville 100 mountain bike thing that he did. It's just a fun thing to show people what CrossFit people can do, even though he don't specialize in Hyrox. He just tried it out, and he's, the 15th best in the world, just trying it out.
And he's 4 months out of surgery on his shoulder.
Yeah, he's been running though. This is
running, but I mean, there's still sled pushes and pulls.
He's so much stronger than all of them. It doesn't matter. He can do it on 40% of his strength. But so that's all this was.
It made me want to go do Hyrox. Like I want to try it now. I think a lot of CrossFitters should expose them. Like themselves like that. Would you not, John? I mean, you've been doing a lot of endurance training. Would you not try this?
Yeah, no, I would do it. I wouldn't want to train for it. This would be something to be like, hey, do you want to do this?
No, yeah,
on
no
Saturday?
training. Just go.
I'd be like, for sure, man. It'd be like trying to triathlon. Like I did a sprint triathlon just because somebody asked me to, like within an hour.
Right.
Yeah. No. 100.
Like a 5K.
Yeah.
I've done some 5Ks off the cuff. Like this feels like I would definitely do that. No
Or,
training.
100%.
or it's like a Spartan race, right? You just go out and have fun on the weekend,
Mhm.
see how you do.
I mean,
I
we
tell
do
you
all
what,
this
though,
fitness for what?
I would be slower than Ricky's slowest run from from step one. We're running at an 8.5, 9 minute pace. And I'll push that sled so much faster than everybody, but we're running at a 9 minute pace that whole time.
Yeah. Matt C, this would be like a cool hardcore Saturday WOD.
Yeah, one of those long burners. You're like, why are we here for an hour? We've not stopped moving.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that stuff though. I love just moving for an hour in that kind of zone 2 pace thing. It's what I've learned to love.
Yeah. I mean, in this article, I mean, I definitely focused on Gerard, but I mean, Caitlin Van Zyl took second on the women's side. James Newberry took fifth on the men's. So
for Australia, right?
Yeah, in Australia, in that competition. So, I mean, Gerard's time was not going to be that close, and especially if the first lap or the first run isn't the same distance, which is kind of interesting. They compare everybody, but there's known issues, which it sounds like that is kind of known in the Hyrox community. But either way, to have 3 CrossFitters who aren't specifically trained for it show up and be respectful, pretty sure nobody that finished better than them could go snatch as much as they do.
Well, I mean, that's the point of what we do, right?
Yep.
We can go out and do anything.
Yep.
And
I think there is Fanny Spiegel, Hyrox. There is a partner one. I don't know how that works, but I'm pretty sure
that would be dope.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's like a team one or a relay or some type of thing. I don't know how it works, but I know
just do all the fitness pieces and none of the runs.
I think some of the elite do that. Like they do the elite and then they go partner up and have fun in a partner one with some other
after
people.
Their elite one.
Yeah. Yep.
I think I'd much rather try to do one individual rather than the partner one. Just to suffer by myself. A partner one, I'd be like, I mean, why am I doing this, man? I'm good at this stuff. Like it's not, but to each his own.
All right, guys. Until next week, keep an eye out for the updated 25 rankings. Those will come out probably early next week. If a few people need a few extra days, but those will come out, and then we'll be back next week.